I'm going to use all three machines to check this three ringer, let you hear what each one of them sounds like. You know, we've had a few requests over, I don't know, maybe over the last year, probably, for me and Jeff to talk about the detectors that we use and the settings that we use on them. And, you know, just kind of how we take our detectors and approach a site and work them. It's a toolbox is all that detectors are. And you use different tools out of your toolbox depending on the situation. Now, me and Jeff, we use the AT Pro, and we've had AT Pros just about since they came out. And then we both have GPXs, which is a pulse machine, and we also have the new Equinox. And so we're going to talk about all three of those machines and how we use those machines, where we use those machines, and yes, we're going to give you the settings that we use, and also going to let you listen to a few targets and how they sound. So I hope that this is informative. I hope you learned something from it. I hope that some of it works for you. But remember one thing, what works here in Kentucky and Middle Tennessee may not work where you are. You may have to make fine adjustments and tune your machine to your soil. So keep that in mind, but here's a good starting point and some tips that I think will help you no matter where you're at.
All right, I've got a decent signal right here, well, a decent target. It's an old iron buckle. It's been in a little fire. Yeah, I'm out here trying to find that wreath to that militia buckle. So I've got the, I'm using AT Pro today, got the snake coil on it. It seems to be doing pretty good. I'll really like it if I find that wreath. I'll be back with you.
Setup on the AT Pro is pretty simple. You just hit your mode button here. That turns your machine on. We're in standard custom right here. I run it all the way down to where it jumps over to Pro. You got Pro Custom, Pro Coins, Pro Zero. We run in Pro Zero. If you'll see up here, we got our iron disc at 0. You can increase that if you want to, up to about 22. We'll get most of your nails and things out, but we like to hear all of those. So we run our iron disc wide open at 0, and we turn our iron audio off. And that's the way me and Jeff run ours. We don't run them with headphones unless we just have to. And we work through all the trash. It's a great machine for identifying where the debris field is at a site. I'd rather use it than anything that I've ever had. So let's see how the AT Pro picks up that 3-ringer. I've got the snake coil on because me and Jeff were hunting in a trashy spot. Got that from Tim Henderson, Murray Branch Outdoors. I bet you're like me, you've wondered about the history of metal detectors. Well, in 1881, Alexander Graham Bell invented the first metal detector, based on an 1874 electrical design by Gustave Trouve, a French electrical engineer. As President James Garfield lay dying of an assassin's bullet, Bell hurriedly invented a crude metal detector in an attempt to locate the fatal slug. Bell's metal detector worked, but the metal coils of James Garfield's bed confused the detector, and the attempt to find the bullet was not successful. And an interesting sidebar was provided to me by Bill Marsh, Ohio relic hunter. Prior to becoming a U.S. president, Garfield taught in Back Run School, a small log cabin located near Marsh, in Harrison Township in Muskingum County, Ohio. The log structure is a short distance from the home in which Garfield and his mother, Eliza, lived at the time, with her brother, Henry Ballou. Both structures still stand today. Gerhard Fischer applied for the first metal detector patent in 1925. He was working on a system of navigation using radio waves, but he found that the results were thrown off when his device was near rocks that contained a lot of metal. He realized that he could use this to make a metal detector. My goodness, we've come a long way from the first attempt by Bell to locate a bullet in President Garfield, and one can only imagine the innovations that the next generation of metal detectors will see. Good size hole right there. And this one here was a Screamer 36 caliber pistol ball. Don't think it's a Colt. I don't know what variety that is, but I'll take it. Show you how I got everything set up on the Equinox. Of course, you got your noise cancel, and you hit this button here and you'll see all of these along the bottom. Noise cancel, you run it. Ground balance, you take your ground balance and hit it there, and then hit this here and pump it up and down above the ground until it settles on a number, and then you can go back and push your detect here. I've got my volume all the way up to 25, and you just take the plus and minus and you can work that back and forth, but I don't use headphones in most cases. So and I don't run any threshold unless I'm using headphones, because it's pretty well useless. Target tone, I'm running in 5. You can run in 50. You can run in 5. You can run in 2. You can run in 1. I like the 5 tone. Some people like the 50. Accept and reject. Whenever you don't have this horseshoe pushed, you're at like -9. When you push the horseshoe, you're going to pretty well open things up. And then recovery speed, I normally run my recovery speed in 2. On the 600 here, you can go up to 3, but you lose a little depth. You can go down to 1. 2 is kind of a good middle ground. And then you can push that again, and I run my iron bias at 1. That's what that is. And then you come back up and you're ready to go. Now obviously you don't have any kind of halo on this, but you get an idea of what it sounds like. We've had 2 or 3 really good rains, probably 3 or 4 inches all total, and this was a weak signal right here. It's a 36 caliber round ball, pistol ball from the American Civil War. 9th Pennsylvania Cavalry camped right here. That's a good find right there this morning. Of all the machines that I own, the GPX is most complicated to run. You take this switch right here to turn it on, and you have a menu that comes up, and I'm just going to go through the settings here that I use. It's going to be a little difficult here to try and use both hands. You got your backlight. I leave it off. Battery test, you don't really need that. Volume limit, I run it on 10. And ground balance, general. I run special, extra, manual tune, and I'll show you on the other side in a moment. You auto tune, or I auto tune these, but you can manual tune if you're in an area that's giving you problems. I run in the deep program. I run my motion at slow. I run my RX gain from anywhere from 6 to sometimes I can run it at 13 with the little coil, but I have found that running that RX gain down a little bit and running the machine, you got to get the machine stable, and whatever you can get, the highest that you can get, and keep it stable. Run my audio on deep. Audio tone I'm running on 50. I run my stabilizer about 3. Plugmaster Ford says that as you go up on gain, you go down on stabilizer. I pretty well leave my stabilizer at 3 almost all the time. Signal, I run it at 10. Target volume at 12. Response, normal. Tracking, slow. Iron reject at 10. Now, at the New York camp at DIV, running iron reject up at 10 was blanking out all of those bullets, and we had to back off on that. So, again, it just depends on your situation and your ground. Here is the front panel. Your threshold is here. Search mode, I run in deep. You can either go in general or custom. Soil timings, I have found that it's best for me to run in special. I have run in enhanced before. Ground balance, I run in fixed, and then you have to ground balance. And with a GPX, it's good to ground balance, you know, I don't know, when you move from one section to another. I ground balance quite a bit during the day. And then on the coil, if you're running a double D, you put it up there in double D. If you're running a mono coil, you run in mono. And here's the trick. If you're in a place with a lot of EMI, where you've got either highline wires, electrical wires above, or a cell tower, you can put that down in cancel, and it will just about kill all of that noise. You will lose a little bit of depth, but I've used that quite a bit at the picket post, which has a cell tower there.
Hey guys, want to remind you that Tennessee Jeff and I have a podcast every Thursday night on Spreaker.com. It's called Relics Radio. It's on at 8 o'clock Eastern Time every Thursday night. And we always try to have a good guest, and we always try to have a good time, as you know, if you've listened to any of our podcasts. But also, check out our Relics Radio Facebook group page, because if you have a Relics Radio t-shirt, if you will take a picture of yourself in that t-shirt and then put it down in the comments on that section or on that post on the Relics Radio t-shirt contest, we'll give you a number, and then sometime later in the year we're going to draw from a random number generator, and some lucky listener is going to win a very good prize, or prize package, let me say that, because there's more than one thing going to be in that. It's going to be well worth you entering. It's going to be well worth you entering into that contest. Got something that hung in my throat right there. I think it's a relic. Anyway, we will see you guys Tuesday on YouTube, and we'll see you Thursday on Relics Radio.